Hello and welcome to your severe weather update for May 6th, 2023. It's been a while since last we made a video, but today seems to necessitate it. We currently have a complex of severe storms ongoing in the state of Illinois that's just crossed the Mississippi River south of Quincy, Illinois, north of St. Louis, Missouri. We also have a system of severe storms moving through Louisiana. None of them currently severe warned at this time, though. Those are some stronger storms down there as well, which have a marginal risk for severe weather today. You'll also notice our low pressure system there in South Dakota. That's moving northward with time. And then you'll also notice that we do have a lot of clear skies behind that, destabilizing the atmosphere for the next few days. So here's what the weather setup looks like. We have two main regions of severe weather risk today. Those are substantially larger than they look on this map. We'll see those soon. But that's the main threat today, with critical fire weather conditions in Colorado and New Mexico as well. Tomorrow we have a risk of severe thunderstorms there in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri. That's far larger than anticipated on this map. And then we also have one in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that I'll show you soon. And again, critical fire weather conditions just behind this main system in the state of New Mexico. Finally, 3 days out, we have a risk of severe thunderstorms slicing through central Missouri into southern Illinois, including places like Evansville, St. Louis, Columbia, Jefferson City. So let's talk about the severe weather threat. You can see today and tomorrow we have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk, and on Monday we have a slight risk. So the enhanced risk today is in place for Texas and southern Oklahoma. We have a slight risk of severe storms in the upper Midwest. We then have an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms in the upper Midwest tomorrow, and we have a slight risk of severe storms in Texas and southern Oklahoma. So the roles kind of flip tomorrow compared to today. And then finally, 3 days out there on Monday, we do have that slight risk of severe thunderstorms on the Midwest. Let's take a look at today's first region of severe storms, the highest threat there, enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5 in place for Ardmore, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, Texas, including Dallas-Fort Worth as well. Storms will likely fire along the western side of the risk area there around 4 to 5 p.m. with discrete supercells possible ahead of this main line that's going to be forming all the way from around Childress to San Angelo. We then have large to very large hail and perhaps a few tornadoes being the main threat until 7 to 8 p.m. with damaging winds exceeding hurricane force possible, with this becoming the main threat all the way until 1 to 2 a.m. after the threat does convert there, and that's when those storms are going to start to die out. Dallas-Fort Worth can expect storms to really start to ramp up there around 9-10 p.m. Let's talk about the hail risk there. You can see the large hail that is shifted there a bit to the west compared to the wind threat that you'll see in a moment, again, because those storms are going to convert and threat with time. If you're in the red region there, you're in an enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5. So rather widespread coverage of damaging large hail is expected, and everyone in the enhanced risk is also in that hatched region you can see there. If you're in the hatched region, that means 2-inch in diameter or larger hail is a real possibility. We're also seeing a slight risk there that's in the yellow for strong to severe storms with hail. That is for scattered coverage, and then isolated coverage there in those brown areas. So take a look at strong winds there again. That's a bit farther east, but anyone in the enhanced risk can expect damaging, dangerous winds with the possibility of them being greater than hurricane force. That's what that hatched area is indicating. Basically, wind gusts could be equivalent to those of a Category 1 hurricane. So make sure that you are prepared for that, as strong winds can create equivalent damage to a weak tornado. Let's talk about the tornado threat. Very low today, but non-zero there. 2% marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 for tornadoes. That includes Wichita Falls, Dallas-Fort Worth. It's near Waco, near Abilene. Again, though, damaging winds and large hail being the primary threats today. Level 3 out of 5 for damaging winds and large hail. Level 1 out of 5 for tornadoes on the southern mode. Let's take a look at weather models now. You'll notice here that complex of storms that we were talking about there in Louisiana, and then our main line of storms starting as discrete storms, then becoming that rather potent arc there. And you can see that moves through Dallas-Fort Worth before dying out with time. And again, that's going to be around the 10, 11 p.m., maybe even midnight time frame that Dallas-Fort Worth is going to be impacted. But as we see that again, you can see those storms start more isolated in nature. They come together, and when they come together, that's when the threat's going to transition from large hail to damaging wind gusts. Well, let's talk about now the official forecast for today up in the northern side of things. Isolated severe thunderstorms are already occurring here today within this risk region, but the main threat won't begin until 7 to 8 p.m., with severe thunderstorms likely having passed around 4 a.m., although severe storms could still be ongoing, especially on the eastern side of things near Indianapolis. All hazards are going to be possible with these storms, including damaging winds, large hail, and perhaps a few tornadoes. When it comes to large hail, you'll see there in that hatched region, that's where you can see hail greater than 2 inches in diameter. That includes Des Moines there in the state of Iowa. You'll then notice around that's the yellow region, that's our level 2 out of 5 slight risk. That means that scattered storms with large hail are possible. And then our marginal risk there in the brown, stretching all the way from Rapid City to Indianapolis and Paducah, that being where isolated storms with large hail are. Most people in the marginal risk will not get severe storms, but those that do will get potent storms with some large hail in them. So again, make sure that you're weather aware, even though odds are you're not going to get hit with anything too bad. Let's talk about now the wind outlook. You'll notice no hatched region for that. That's good news. And the wind threat is displaced there slightly to the east of the hail threat. So that level 2 out of 5, that's where the possibility of 60 mile per hour or greater wind gusts is. That's where it's highest. And you'll notice there that's where scattered severe winds are possible. And then severe winds in isolated coverage are expected again from around Rapid City to Paducah in Indianapolis. Let's talk about the tornado risk there. 5%. It's a level 2 out of 5. That includes Des Moines, Iowa, nearly to Springfield there in Illinois. But that's where a few tornadoes are possible, and then maybe 1 or 2 tornadoes there in the green region, that marginal risk. Let's talk about what this model shows. There's that severe storm we were talking about earlier today on this model, and then our main threat begins to really fire up as we head into the overnight hours. And this will become somewhat potent, especially overnight. It'll kind of organize into more of a line that moves on through, but again, we have that more discrete mode before we can get into a more linear mode. And again, as we look through this, there's our isolated severe storm already ongoing, and then you'll again notice that we have isolated storms fire with large hail, damaging winds, and perhaps a tornado or two, and then we'll also see the possibility of that damaging line of storms. As we move on to tomorrow, the main risk is now to the north, so the northern and southern modes have now shifted places. An enhanced risk in place, including Omaha and Des Moines. Isolated severe storms will be possible throughout the day, but again, an overnight threat. That's what this is expected to be. So the main threat for severe storms begins around 7 to 8 p.m., with the threat remaining until around 5 a.m. for all hazards. And that could be considerable. Damaging winds, large hail, tornadoes, these could all be rather considerable. Let's talk about it now. So 80 mile per hour or greater winds even are possible. Giant hail also a possibility, and even the possibility of a few tornadoes there tomorrow. So let's talk about it now. So we do have that risk for large hail. So if you're in the enhanced risk, you're also in the hatched region. So numerous severe thunderstorms capable of producing large to giant hail are likely within this region. So Omaha, Des Moines, you need to have your guard up tomorrow. The odds are that you're going to have large to giant hail at least within 25, maybe even 20 miles of you. So make sure that you're really watching out, as it looks like strong to severe storms are rather likely in your general vicinity. As we get into the slight risk region around that, that's where we're expecting scattered severe storms, although the hail is not expected to be so large. And then finally there, our brown region, that's the marginal risk again. As we take a look at the wind threat, again, that's now farther south than the previous risk area there for hail, but that enhanced risk definitely in place there just south of Omaha, stretching through Des Moines. That's where numerous severe thunderstorms with strong winds are expected. And then in the hatched region, that's where hurricane force or greater winds are a real possibility there. You'll also notice our slight risk, including Kansas City, Topeka, near Springfield, Illinois. That's where we could see scattered severe storms with strong winds, 60 miles per hour or greater. And then our brown regions there, those are our marginal risks, level 1 out of 5, where isolated severe storms with damaging winds are possible. Let's take a look now at the tornado threat. There it is, level 2 out of 5, including Omaha and Des Moines. And then finally, we can see there in the marginal risk, Topeka and Kansas City. So level 2 out of 5 slight risk for Omaha, Des Moines, level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for Topeka, Kansas City. As we take a look at this weather model, the big thing that we notice here is that we don't have many storms throughout the day, but isolated storms there. And as we head into the overnight hours, you'll notice that storms become more widespread in coverage. You'll notice those isolated major storms first before a more robust line forms and moves on through. And then that shifts south with time and begins to lose some force as we move into Monday. All right, let's talk about the southern threat here. This one, a slight risk, level 2 out of 5 there, but severe storms will likely fire around 4 to 5 p.m., and they will be relatively isolated, although those impacted will get significant damaging winds and perhaps large to giant hail as well. the threat will have diminished by midnight, and again, we're not expecting too many storms in this region, but the storms that do form could be potent. So let's take a look at the hail risk there. That includes Lawton, Oklahoma, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and it includes Fort Worth, not Dallas though, but that's on the line. So if you're in Dallas or Fort Worth, you're watching tomorrow. Wichita Falls and Abilene, all within the level 2 out of 5 for hail. Also in the hatched region there for significant hail. That's the possibility of hail 2 inches in diameter or greater. So if you're in the yellow there, really be weather aware tomorrow. If you're in the brown, again, probably not much is going to happen, but you're still in a very small chance for severe storms, so make sure that you do have your plan in place just in case. The wind threat is a bit larger there. That also includes Fort Worth, not Dallas, but again, if you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, make sure that you're watching. You're within some sort of wind risk, but not the level 2. Wichita Falls, again, kind of centered there, northern side of the bullseye. For wind, so the hatched region there coincided with the slight risk, scattered severe storms, but any severe storms that do form could have winds greater than hurricane force. And again, we do have isolated severe storms possible within our brown region there. And then the tornado threat, all good news, not a single area there within the southern side of the threat is expected to be in any sort of tornado threat tomorrow, although there's a non-zero chance, technically speaking, of a tornado forming, so we never want to let anyone get their guard down with that. Just know there isn't really a tornado threat with this. This is going to be a strong wind, large hail kind of thing. Not many tornadoes, if any at all, are expected. All right, well, let's take a look at the weather model for this. Here's what we see. We don't see much going on during the day here in the morning hours, so here we are now in the afternoon, and what we'll notice here pretty quickly is storms are going to start to fire around this time. So this is around 5, 6, 7 p.m., and you'll notice they're relatively isolated. There aren't too many of them, but those that do form are a bit potent, and then they die out pretty quick. So not too much in terms of severe storms. They are within the slight risk, but those couple of storms there could be pretty potent and intense. That's why the slight risk has been issued. All right, let's talk about Monday now. You'll notice the main threat for severe thunderstorms begins around 4 p.m., and this is again going to be for our slight risk folks there, and I wouldn't be shocked to see this shifted north some as time goes on. The main threats are going to be damaging winds and isolated large hail. No mention of tornadoes by the Storm Prediction Center at this time, with the threat of severe thunderstorms diminishing by 4 a.m., that being when those storms move out on the eastern side of the current outlooked region. Here's the probabilistic outlook, no hatched region, so there's no area where the Storm Prediction Center believes that hurricane force winds, 2-inch plus hail, or EF2 plus tornadoes are a very real possibility at this time. Let's take a look at the weather model for this, and you'll notice here rather clearly, not too many storms all the way until around the overnight hours there. So again, it's around 4 p.m. Things start to form, but they really get potent there as we head into around 9, 10, 11, midnight, and then again things start to die down as we head into the morning hours of the following day. Well, if you want to know what you can do, we actually just came out with a severe weather preparation video. It's a pretty comprehensive guide to how to prepare for strong winds, large hail, tornadoes, flooding, and lightning. A link will be in the description below for that, so be sure to watch that if you're interested. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. We do hope that it was of use to you. I apologize, I do have a bit of a cough today. If you liked it, you can hit the like button down below. You can also hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more content like this. And you can join our Discord server to interact with our community, including me and the remainder of the Advective Weather team. And be sure to leave a comment if you enjoyed things or have any feedback. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.